What's up, you guys? It's Michael Flix. I'm here in East Village, downtown San Diego, on a rooftop today. Gonna head inside and interview the owner and founder of Spoiled Vegans restaurant, my man Todd Anderson. Come on, let's go. To another episode of Link Up with Michael Flix. Of course, I'm Michael Flix. I'm here with my good friend Todd Anderson, the owner and founder of one of the few black-owned vegan restaurants here in San Diego, Spoiled Vegans. How you doing today, bro?
I'm doing real good, man. I'm here with you, man, doing an interview, which I haven't did no interviews. I think it's my first one of the year, so I feel good, man. I'm happy to be here.
That's what's up, man. I appreciate you, letting me in your space for this interview, man. I've been excited about this interview for a long time.
For sure.
The restaurant's doing dope stuff in the city. The food is amazing, so I'm really excited about this one, man.
I'm excited to be here, man. I know we made plans to make this happen a few times, man. So I feel like today is a blessing, man, that we putting it in. So thanks for the invite.
It happened in the perfect timing, you know what I mean? Let's go ahead and start from the beginning, man. I know, but I mean, of course, I'm sure everybody doesn't know. You're not originally from San Diego. Where are you originally from?
My story is crazy, man. Like, so I was born in Chicago. When I was an infant, my mom jumped in a small Subaru with my sister and drove across the country from Illinois, Chicago to San Diego. And so I have a lot of family in San Diego, and actually a lot of my childhood memories are from San Diego. So I grew up in San Diego, Southeast San Diego. I went to Robert Fulton. My sister went to Moore's. The Encanto Boys Club off of 68th Street was basically my outlet, would basically raise me. And so we moved to San Diego from my infant stages to about 8th, 9th grade, and then we moved back to Chicago, and then I moved to Palm Springs from there and spent like 10, 15 years in Palm Springs.
Okay, so I think we talked about it before, but I didn't realize you spent that much of your childhood here in San Diego.
Yes.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it's crazy that I say I'm from Chicago, but I'm really from San Diego. I spent more of my adult life and actually my childhood in San Diego.
That's the same for me, bro. Like I'm originally from Long Beach.
Okay.
And I moved out to San Diego when I was like 5. And all my life I've told people, like, bro, I'm from Long Beach. So just like thinking about it, like I went to Valencia Park Elementary, I went to O'Farrell Middle School in Southeast. Like I'm from San Diego, bro.
For sure.
All my family's in Long Beach, and I love Long Beach, but I'm from San Diego.
For sure, man. I need to fix that when people ask you where you're from. I'm really from San Diego.
I feel it. So what brought you? What made you move from Palm Springs back to San Diego?
So I spent a lot of time in Palm Springs. I had a son. I didn't grow up without my father, and so like it was very important to be a very major presence in my son's life. So I lived in Palm Springs until my son was 15. I worked in education. I ran a few schools out in Palm Springs, and so there was an opportunity in San Diego with Kaplan College, and I was like, I've been 15 years out in this hot desert, man. Let me see what the vibe is like. And I took the job, owned a house in Temecula, so I would drive from Temecula to San Diego in the morning, get off, on the weekends, go back to Temecula, and drive to Palm Springs, pick up my son, and go back to Temecula. And so I did that for like 3 years, from 2013 until 2015, 16-ish, and then I moved, directly to San Diego from there.
Okay, so you've been back out here for a minute now. How long have you been a vegan? Let's start there. How long have you been vegan?
So I've been vegan since 2016, and I hold San Diego accountable. I put San Diego as the responsibility or the reason why I am vegan.
Okay.
And so living in Palm Springs, I just feel like it was very closed-minded. I really didn't see any opportunities outside of what we saw, daily. So I moved to San Diego. It's interesting, when I first take a little step back, when I first got to Temecula, I was with someone that started cooking vegan food.
Okay.
And so I come home from work one day and she whipped up, vegan bean burger, and I'm like, yo, what is this, man? I'm like, what is this? And so to be kind, I'm like, all right, I'll try it. So I ate the burger, and I remember having just like this mental block about, I'm eating vegan food, but it tastes pretty good anyway. And so she did that for about a week or two and then stopped. Long story short, the seed was planted back in 2000, maybe 14, that, I could possibly do a vegan lifestyle. The food tastes decent. And so in 2016, your boy used to go hard. I still have some bad ways from Palm Springs where I still used to drink a lot. I still used to party a lot. I still go to Vegas a lot. November 2016, me and a good friend of mine went to Vegas. We spent 4 days there. I get back to San Diego and I have this wild hangover that lasts 2 days. Now fam, a hangover should only last a day.
Right.
I mean, 8 hours at the most or whatever. This hangover lasts 2 days, and so I'm just sitting there contemplating on some of the decisions I'm making, and I was like, bro, you're not healthy, man. You're not taking care of yourself. Like, man, you gotta do better. Like, you feel this way for a reason. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna sit back, I'm gonna watch some documentaries and see what I can find, like, to help guide me to make better decisions. So I'm scanning, I see a documentary called Food Choices. No concept or no idea that this is a vegan documentary. I just saw food choices, so I figured that they're gonna guide me on making better food choices. So I cracked the documentary open and nothing really touched base, and then maybe, I don't know, halfway through the documentary, one of the gentlemen said, we're the only species that drink milk from another species. I don't know why, but that was it. That was my moment that made me question a lot of things, and I was like, damn, that's weird. I'm a grown, the way he said it too, he was like, milk is made for a baby calf and it's a cocktail of hormones, to help this calf grow very quickly. And I'm just like, yo, I'm not a calf and I'm an adult, man. I'm not trying to grow like that, you know what I mean? And so that was my trigger. And I was like, all right, I'm gonna try plant-based for a week and see the vibes. I already tried the food before and the food was decent, so let me try it. So I tried it for like 2-3 days, and it was a struggle trying to figure out what to eat, but I felt good.
Right.
And so I'm like, yo, forget all the selfish stuff, you know what I mean? If I could figure out how to get full, you know what I mean, I feel good. So day 4, I figured out how to make a masala, a tikki masala, which is an Indian dish made with chickpeas and so on and so on. And I made it plant-based and it was filling. And I was like, oh, I could do this, man. That tastes bomb. And so that was it, man. I was a week in, I was like, all right, I'm gonna continue this. I was a month in, I was like, yo, I'm losing like a little fat around here that I've been trying to lose for a while. So I kept going. 2 months in, other things started connecting.
Like what?
Like, for example, I have a dog, you know what I mean? And why it's okay to eat this animal, but it's not okay to eat my dog? Who made these rules? You know what I mean? So I started just thinking more, and I'm like, man, these are man-made rules. Like to say like, okay, it's okay to eat this animal, but this one's not. And to me, that just didn't make no sense. And so with those type of aha moments, I started just like digging more. And I went vegan initially because I wanted to feel better and for health reasons, but I stayed vegan because I started realizing like the lies and the influence of why we eat what we eat. You know what I mean? It's not because it's nutritional, it's not because it fuels our body. We eating this because this is tradition and this is what they say is best for us to eat. And so I wanted freedom, man, and I feel like that kept me vegan, and that drove me to the next level, just that freedom and knowing what to eat.
That's dope, man. That's kind of what happened for me too. In full honesty, I'm not all the way vegan anymore. But the thing, I was like strictly vegan for I think a year and a half, and then I went pescatarian. And the thing that did it for me was similar to you. I think it was called What the Health. I was watching that one, and they were talking about like the same companies that like manufacture this, like manufacture like all the dairy stuff.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying? It's all intertwined. You know what I'm saying? It's really crazy. But no, that like specifically what you were saying about the milk, cow's milk, about like being for a calf. Remember I told one of my friends that like she was having a baby soon. And I was telling her, like, I never gave my son any milk. And I was telling her, like, exactly what you said. I was like, that milk is like to grow a cow, not a human. She said, that makes perfect sense.
It's logic.
And then she went and looked at her family, and one of her family members was a pescatarian and didn't drink any milk. And then the other ones just, ate and drank everything. And she was like looking at the size of their babies, and the one that had cow milk and the one that didn't. And she was like, I'm not to say that baby's not healthy, but like that's a bigger child because it's been drinking the milk. You know what I'm saying? So that was some of the things for me that kind of like made me switch up the way I eat and the way I live too. Yeah, man.
I grew up off of free, lunch, and so we got 2 options. We got white milk, we got chocolate milk. Chocolate milk definitely tastes better. But I just remember like seeing the got milk commercials and you need to build muscle. And I remember seeing these commercials and I'm like influenced to drink more milk so I could build more muscle. You know what I mean? And so those are the type of things that kind of shift me from having more control of what I put in my body.
I got you. So how long, you said that was 2016?
2016.
2016. So how long I'm sorry, what were you about to say?
I was just saying, I'm approaching 5 years coming up.
That's dope, man.
Yeah, 5 years. It's crazy. People ask me all the time, like, man, would you go back? And I always been taught, never say never, you know, but this is one thing that I could say never, you know what I mean? I just don't view, you know, things that I used to eat before as food anymore, you know what I mean? It's like, if I'm walking and I see a pebble on the ground, I don't look at that as food, and that's how I look at the things I used to eat. And so to me, it's like a whole mental shift from what I think is, you know, edible and what's not edible.
It's real, bro. And what you put in your body, it shows like on the outside. Like a lot of my friends, like, you know, people been like more into skincare and taking care of their bodies and stuff like that. And I'm somebody that really, I take pride in the way I look, you know what I mean? And some like, both my homies is like, bro, like you got a glow, bro. Like what's going on with you? I'm like, bro, I cut grease and dairy out of my diet. That's really all. That's really all. I don't do no crazy, like I cut milk, I cut dairy and cut grease out of my diet. It affects everything. Like I feel like I see brighter, like it affects everything, bro.
It changed more than just my appearance. Like before we did this interview, I was like getting dressed and you know what I mean, some of the things that we accomplish or some of the things we do really don't hit us sometimes until we just like in certain moments. And I was just like grateful for this interview, and I was like, you know, I looked around, I saw old pictures of myself. It was a picture of me and my son, and one of the photos, man, my face just looked swollen. And honestly, like I was in good shape. Like I was the strongest I ever been at that time. Like I was an athlete, like I was good. But I had inflammation in my face and I could see it. Like I totally could see it. And it's crazy now, like I feel like my face is slimmer, but it's just, I think more who I'm supposed to, you know, what I'm supposed to look like compared to what I look like most of my life. But yeah, man, you know me, man, I've never been like the type to, you know, pressure people to go vegan. Like I've never been like the type to be aggressive about it. And I don't know if he was gonna talk about this or not, but like my style, man, the way I present, you know, my lifestyle to others, it's just showing them how I do it. And not to make people feel guilty, because like you came to me, you know, in 2014, was like, dude, you need to go vegan, man. You stop eating animals, dude. You wrong. I would have got defensive and probably pushed me way further away from even thinking about going vegan, because I'm like, I don't want to be like you. Like, you know what I mean? And so, like, it's a thin line, and I'm still learning how to balance it. But I just really, like, you know, just want people to kind of see put people in a position where they have an aha moment too. You know what I mean? And you able to kind of decide those things yourself.
I feel you, bro. That makes perfect sense. And I feel like that's the best way to do it, whether you're talking about a certain like diet plan or like a religion or anything. You should just show people how dope and how great it is by the way you live. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to be so preachy and so pushy. Just live it. And let that inspire people. You know what I'm saying? So how long were you, a two-part question here. How long were you vegan before you decided to do the restaurant, and how did the opportunity for the restaurant come about?
So we started Spoiled Vegans 2019, I think it was June 2019. I never had any intentions of having a restaurant. I worked in education the last 15 years. At that moment, I was recruiting students from, you know, Lincoln, from, you know, Moores, from Southeast San Diego to attend Grand Canyon University. And so to this day, I still don't have like a chef experience or a full kitchen experience. And so it just never was a dream of mine. And so I lived downtown East Village, and I spent 2.5 years, my first 2.5 years of being vegan, I went around just trying to educate myself and educate others. And so I found myself in a position where I was filming a lot of content.
We're gonna get into that too.
Yeah, you know, I'm filming, you know, behind the scenes at, you know, all the vegan restaurants in San Diego. I'm filming all the farmers markets. I'm filming like the vegan fairs. I'm going to Miami to film. I went to Brazil, went to the Amazon with a friend from Everbowl to film him climbing a tree to pull acai out. And so I went through like 2.5 years of just filming content. And one day I went downstairs to the bottom of my apartment to get some coffee, and the guy that was there was like, he's like, would you buy food if we had food here? And I was like, yeah, man, I would. He's like, all right, cool, we're trying to get food here. We're just trying to find someone. And I was like, man, why don't you get some vegan food? He's like, man, I don't know anyone, but we've been thinking about it. I walked out of there that day. I came upstairs, walked in to my girl, and I was like, yo, we should do a pop-up downstairs. What should we call it? I was like, Spoiled Vegans Cafe. And that name came from a group of people that I used to run with 2 years before that. We called ourselves Spoiled Vegans, and we were traveling Costa Rica and different places and just trying to check out the vibes when it comes to vegan lifestyle. And so that was the name. I would go downstairs and tell the dude, I was like, yo man, let's do a pop-up here. I think I know enough people where I could get people to come. He's like, cool. He's like, you got any investors? Or how you gonna do this? And I'm like, man, I don't even know what I'm doing. I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing, but yo, I'll be back.
Right.
We're gonna figure this out. And so I hit up a few investors. I remember having a meeting with one investor, and like the concept of Spoiled Vegans wasn't what it is now. It was, we had a waffle bowl. I found this waffle machine that made these cool waffles, and it was in a bowl shape, and we were gonna put like salads and cool like vegan stuff in there and just build a concept off of it. And so I take it to an investor liked it. She was gonna move forward with it, and then I found out that they can't produce that in the mass, quality of that particular machine. And so anyway, long story short, we start figuring out our identity, start doing pop-ups downstairs. The first 2 weekends, I think we sold out, back to back, sold out weekends. As you know, Spoiled Vegans is not in North Park, it's not in like the nice areas, it's in East Village, which is an up and coming area, downtown San Diego. So you have a lot of beautiful things happening, but you also have a lot of struggle down here. But a lot of people would be afraid to do something in this area, and we were all for it because we wanted to be around the culture, and also I know East Village is next. And so we learned in those pop-ups that the Spoiled Vegans could actually do something because we're bringing people to one of the worst neighborhoods in San Diego and selling out. And so that's kind of how Spoiled Vegans started. We started doing outdoor events and found our way, with the opportunity to actually have a brick and mortar, which we're proud to be working on open full time soon.
That's really cool, man. You said that, and that 2019 is gonna happen.
Yeah, 2019, June 2019, we kicked off. We went through a whole year of just doing outdoor events. 2020 came where we just had like events lined up with San Diego State, UCSD. We had events in LA. We were planning on going to Miami, different states like that. And then the pandemic hit, and like I told you yesterday, I remember just sitting there on my computer and watching 20 plus events be canceled in one day. I'm just, I'm like, okay, I understand why you need to cancel.
Right.
You know what I mean? I'm being polite about it, but I'm like about to cry, man.
I feel it. I had to speak to the pandemic messing up business. I mean, it messed up business for me, but I had a friend who had he's a comedian, and he had all these like shows lined up, and he had like 20 deposits he had to give back.
Oof.
He got the deposits, and after you do a show, you get your back.
Right.
He had 20 deposits he had to give back, bro.
Man, I could feel his pain, man. I was sitting there just like, that's one of them cases you say, Jesus take the wheel straight up, man, because there was no way I didn't know no way how to dig out of what was going on, but yeah, that happened, and something very interesting happened during that time. So we had a whole model where we're just doing like a lot of different foods, outdoor events, like we would do the waffles and the breakfast, but then we started getting into doing loaded nachos and all this other stuff. And so the pandemic hit, and we had one more event that didn't cancel, which was down the street with a coffee place called Gentil. My partner, which really, my co-partner, my girl, she really is the brains behind keeping operations like running. Like I focus on the marketing and presentation. And she was leaving out of town to go see her sister just had a newborn. Anyway, long story short, so I had to do this event by myself and with a few other people. So I was like, yo, I'm about to dumb it down. I'm gonna dumb the menu down just to breakfast sandwiches. Bro, can you believe that was the birth of our current situation? Like, we found our identity through that tragedy, through that uncertainty. And so we do this event. I put 3 sandwiches on there. It's the Spoil Yourself, which we still rock with, and I made it in 2 different ways. And then I did like a bacon sandwich, bro, and it sold out. And it was like, to me, it made more sense business-wise. I feel like that was a growing point for us business-wise. like the more simple, the better. You know, and I feel like with the vegan community, we try to do too much. We try to bring the whole world, you know, through our menu. And as a business owner, it's not necessarily always, I don't know, good for business. And so, yeah, that's how we kind of found our current model. And we've been operating through the pandemic using this model. And this last weekend was our biggest weekend. And so it's been like every single weekend since that tragedy, like we've been getting better and better and better, man. So it's been a blessing, you know, going through the pandemic and learning how to kind of deal with that stuff.
That's dope, man. That's dope, man. See, I actually found you on Instagram. I had already been following you because I be on Instagram all the time clicking hashtags. And I was actually living in North Park at the time, and I would always go to that Carl's Jr. right there to get the Beyond Western, the Beyond Famous Star. And like I said, I had been following, like, this dude is dope. And really, I wasn't too deep into the vegan lifestyle yet, but I'm like, this dude's content is dope, and I was really trying to get my content up, you know what I'm saying? So that's really how I found you. And then you went to the Carl's Jr. that I was always going to. I'm like, oh, this dude is right down the street. Like, let me tap in with him and see what's up. And that was really like what brought me to you, and then we, you know what I'm saying, we got this dope relationship now. Kind of talk about the because you're up to like 130-something thousand followers on Instagram, like 300-something thousand on TikTok. Kind of talk about that journey, like the social media journey, how all that's been.
Well, so when I first went vegan, right away, I switched my focus to Instagram to present like this lifestyle. And so I remember telling a few of the homies, yo, I'm going vegan. These dudes like, man, you're going vegan, dude. What is shit?
I got the same thing.
You know what I mean? Like, trying to clown me and everything. I was just looking at them like, y'all don't get it. You don't see it. Like, you gotta, you have a film right here in front of you, man, that's preventing you to see it. And I get it because I have the same film. And so I was like, all right, I'm not gonna say nothing to you because you ain't gonna understand me. I'm just gonna show you. And so I started filming food to show people like, yo, we don't just eat salads, one. And then two, I started in San Diego, and I went around to find every vegan that was in San Diego that I thought was different. And I set up an interview with them. One Dope Vegan was like one of the first ones. And I just sat down and I soaked up this information from them, and I also used that to present on my page. And so I grew right away to like, you know, 28,000 in my first year. And then I went 2 years with no growth. So yeah, 2 years with no growth. I actually went backwards a few times. And so I feel like for those 3 years, I was just creating content. And recently I found that I am a content creator. I recently just pushed myself to be a content creator. And so when the pandemic hit, like I went from going to restaurants, filming everybody's stuff and showing everything that everyone's doing to like switching the focus to myself and start, you know, doing recipes. I do my first 2-3 recipes and I notice a difference in the response from my audience and from people that didn't, you know, necessarily follow me. In that short period of time, I feel like I started to understand value and presenting value in content. And I look back at all my other content and I was like, bro, you was lost. You was just putting out stuff for yourself. Like you was putting things out, you know, yeah, you showing food, but you like showing like, oh, I'm eating good, I'm doing good. But what about the people that, you know, maybe in Houston or the people that maybe in, you know, the suburbs, they don't have access to some of the food we have, like they ain't gonna get excited for that, you know. And so I started understanding to provide value. So I started doing the recipes. I still didn't really hit it. I was doing recipes that was 3 minutes long, 4 minutes long. And then in November, it was September, I got hit up by TikTok.
Of 2020.
Yep. And they were like, man, we're trying to like, you know, bring more culinary stuff to TikTok. We want to invite you to, you know, create some educational content. Cool, yeah, let's do it. Be honest with you, I didn't get too many opportunities for paid advertisement or paid anything on my page. I did everything for free for 3 years.
Come on, Instagram.
Oh yeah, Instagram, anything I did for free. I really didn't make no money on it. So anyway, I was like, cool, I'll do it. They're going, whatever. In the course, that was the best thing that could have happened to me, man. I learned in TikTok how to create content that was able to come out of TikTok and work with reels and work with other things. And so first thing I get in the class, one thing they point out is just like, man, you making 3-minute videos, how long are you retaining your audience? I go look in there, I'm retaining them for 2-3 seconds and they're gone. That's what fuels the algorithm is, you know, how long people watch it, how much they engage with it, they share it, they comment, so on, so on. And so from that moment, I told myself, and they actually told me too, like, I don't want you to go past 15 seconds until you learn how to tell a story in 15 seconds, then move on. And I was like, man, how the heck do you tell a story in 15 seconds? But that was it. That was the goal. That made me cut out all the fluff that I was putting in my videos, and it made me get right to the shots. Doom, 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 doom. Here's the story, and it helped me start realizing, like, all right, this is how I track someone in the first 2-3 seconds. How can I get them to the 10 seconds? How can I get them to that? And so that was the growth for me in content creation. And so right away, I took that style and I moved it to Instagram. Can you believe it or not? Like, I grew 100,000 on Instagram from December 2020 to now.
Wow.
So 3-4 months, I grew 4 or 5 times. I did almost 4 or 5 years, just because I started to pay more attention to how I'm creating content and not just creating content for myself. And so now, you know, same thing with Reels, and I'm sorry, with TikTok. You know, I'm at 230,000 there. But I also learned too, what I learned in that period is I was focusing too much on Instagram, focusing too much on Reels. Man, there's so many platforms out there. There's so many ways to build ourselves up. And so now that's what I'm on now, is just like not focusing on one, but getting better at creating content on multiple platforms.
See, bro, that's what I need to get better at, man. Because I've always come from the standpoint of, like, I'm gonna create what I think is dope, and you know what I'm saying. And I think that's what you should do for the most part. But you do what you like, create what you think is gonna be dope, but also make it palatable for everybody and for all the platforms.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And that's kind of what I've been struggling with, like, lately.
And I feel that, bro, and I do believe there is a point where you can create the content that you wanted to create.
Because you're still creating the content that you want. You just kind of switch the format a little bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like yesterday, we talked about I felt I was stagnant, and so I grew on both platforms a lot. I noticed the last 2 weeks I started going down, and so some people say keep doing the same thing. It works. Nah. I looked at my algorithm. I looked at what I could do differently. And yesterday I did a video and I kind of just switched the style a little bit right away. Both platforms, that one video is doing good. And I posted 12 videos before that wasn't doing good. And so I learned, a lot of people say all the time, they're like, oh man, the algorithm, oh man, I'm getting shadowed. I do believe in those things, but I also do believe that there's ways that you can get out of that. And there's ways that you can, the way I feel, the reason why I feel this way, if the same videos that do good for me on TikTok is the same videos that do good on Reels. They don't miss.
Gotcha.
And then if I post one that do bad on TikTok, it does bad on Reels. And if I go to another platform, so it's creating good content. And that's why I do believe if you create the value and you put your heart into it and you really analyze your stuff, I think, you know, we all got the potential to be great content creators.
Absolutely. I feel like as long as you gotta, again, you have to enjoy it, but I mean, telling stories that people want to hear, and pointing your camera at stuff that people want to see.
For sure.
Is essentially what it is.
For sure.
So you like I said, you're popping on Instagram and TikTok right now. Right now you guys are just doing pop-ups with Spoiled Vegan. So what do you see in the future for you? Like what's next?
Well, with Spoiled Vegans, we recently was able to take over the full lease for our location. Leading up until the last couple of weeks, we always have shared the location or partnered. And so this is the first time we're in a position where the location is ours.
Nice.
And so we're just trying to figure out how to reopen and how we want to reopen. Like I said, I learned through the pandemic when Spoiled Vegans in 2020, we're trying to do everything. I was trying to make every single person happy. I was trying to create every little revenue or way of creating revenues. And now I realize like the business wouldn't sustain like that. We were gonna crash real soon. And so now I see that the more simple and the more direct and the more clean message we have to our audience on what we are and who our identity is, I think it really will continue to blast the brand. And so we plan on opening a location up more hours and full time, looking at another location in San Diego. And I'm hoping by the end of the year we can get into these ghost kitchen concepts, and if that works out, I can see us in cities like Atlanta. I can see us in
What's a ghost kitchen?
Ghost kitchen is basically one of the most popular styles of kitchens that are coming up right now, where you have, like, for example, there's one in Barrio Logan called Barrio Hub, where there's 20 restaurants inside of one location, and it's just a pickup or delivery operations, which cuts the cost down for the businesses. It allows them to do a lot more, and I think for us, it allows us to scale a lot quicker and reach more cities. But what's dope about the ghost kitchen, like, we're actually, I don't know how much you believe in the universe, man. I believe so much in trusting the universe and not like stressing and not like trying to control everything. But I heard of the ghost kitchen like 2 years ago, and I felt like it was a smart way of going. Due to the pandemic, we have been operating as a ghost kitchen. Like, I was chilling, sitting back, and I was like, oh, we should move to, hold up. We're operating as a ghost kitchen. We're a kitchen that only pick up delivery, and it's very, in my opinion, very successful. You've really cut back on mistakes with customers. No more having someone take an order, making a mistake. The customer places the order, so less mistakes. We waste less food. In return, we're able to give more back to the community. Our audience knows what they get from us. You come to Spoiled Vegan, I'm coming to pick up my food, go to the beach, go to the park, go take it to work, go do this and that. And so I think it's a clear message of what Spoiled Vegans is, and I think that's what we've been lacking in the restaurant industry. Is like, for example, you go to a restaurant now, they have pickup and delivery and sit down. You know what I mean? Like, how can they be specialized? How can they be real good at one if they're doing so much? And I think that's our goal, is to be real good at the Ghost Kitchen. So
do you guys have a set date for when you're gonna like fully open the location?
So the government,
or like an ideal date?
The government is talking about June 15 that everything's gonna reopen. So we're planning June 15 to get the patio going, somewhere around that range. And so as long as the city the state stick to their commitment, then we'll be ready.
That's what's up, man. That's what's up, man. I think that was all I have for. Tell everybody where they can find you and everything like that, man.
Man, I appreciate you having me on here first off, man. Getting me out doing interviews, man. You can find me easily, Turn Up Vegan Like the Vegetable. You can find me on Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat, YouTube. What else out there? Triller, Bites. Man, I'm on every platform, man. I'm telling y'all, if you want to create content, don't focus your energy in one place, man. Put your energy all out there so the world can receive it correctly. One love, man. I appreciate you having me, man. I appreciate you, man. It's been another episode of Link Up with Michael Flix, man. I appreciate y'all tapping in with me, man. We'll be back soon. Thank you. Indeed. That was dope, man. Hell yeah, man. I appreciate it, man. My pleasure. My pleasure.